Okay guys, we're going to set up a NAT router on a Linux box and have a Linux client. The first Linux box has one network card bridged to our real network and another card attached to a virtual switch called private. Our second Linux box is only attached to that virtual switch private. So I'm going to go to the first machine. I'm going to sign in as root. And then I'm going to edit my host name. Change my host name. I'm going to try to go relatively quickly just to keep the video short. So I set my host name. Now I need to resolve my host name to a loopback address. I'm going to resolve my long name and my short name to loopback address. I can even do something like this. This is going to be my second Linux box, 1.2. If I want to set up local name resolution for my second machine on this box. So this is referring to myself, and this is referring to the second box once I have it configured. So I can communicate using a name as opposed to an IP address. Now guys, I'm going to reboot my machine so that host name takes effect. Open up another terminal, sign back in as root. Now, I am not certain which network card goes to which interface theme, ETH1 or ETH0. So I'm going to disconnect one of my network cards. I'm just going to unattach the cable for the bridged interface. Then I'm going to run a command called dmessage. Which interface went down? ETH0. So that's my public interface. I'm going to reconnect the cable, and I'm going to do the same to the other interface. Run dmessage again. I don't have the network card turned on, that's why it's not showing up. ETH0 is up, but ETH1 is going to be my private interface. ETH2 will be my interface attached to the internet. So I'm going to configure my public interface first. etc sysconfig network -scripts ifcfg ETH0. On boot equals yes. Boot proto is static. IP adder 10.13.5.1. Our net mask is 22 bits. And our gateway is 10.13.4.1. I'm going to do service network restart to verify that those changes took effect. And I can see that is my address now. So I can make these images duplicatable. I didn't put the MAC address in the interface files, so I'm going to go back and fix that. That's the MAC address for ETH0. Hardware adder equal, I'm going to paste that in there. Control Shift V is paste. Now I'm going to go fix my other interface. This is my private interface next. On boot, yes. Static. IP adder equals 192.168.1.1. Net mask, it's a default class C address. This interface doesn't gateway, the other interface already has a gateway. I really only need one gateway per computer. If I wanted to execute service network restart right from within VI, what could I use? Bang, service network restart, and that will allow me to restart my network without leaving VI. I have a problem here. What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't save this yet. I gotta save it. Then service. And I just hit :W to save. Then bang, service, network, restart. There's ETH1 is coming up now. Hit enter, brings me back to VI. If I want to view my changes, I can go back into command mode and do ifconfig. I can see ETH0 is up and ETH1 is up. There's my MAC address for ETH1. Add that to my file. Okay, the next thing we need to do to this machine is configure the DNS servers. Because this was attached to a DHCP server at one point in time, it should have the DHCP, it should have the DNS servers already there. But right here, this is actually indicating it was set by the DHCP server. Right now, I want to show that it's statically set by getting rid of that first line. I want to get rid of this old network. That was the old network we were attached to. Ping 8.8.8.8. I can connect to the internet. I'm going to look to make sure I have a default gateway, route -n or netstat -rm. Either will show me my routing table. And I can see I have a default gateway. It's up, and it's my gateway. We've got to look at those flags. If I want to test name resolution, just do a dig in the host name or NS lookup in a host name. Dig or NS lookup. Okay, so now I want to turn this machine into a router. Echo 1 into proc sys net IPv4/IP. All I'm doing is at the kernel level turning on that feature. 1 means on, 0 means off. So if I echo a 1 into that file, I turn that feature on immediately. But this won't be persistent after reboot. So what I can do is edit another file. syscontrol.conf. If I edit this file, I can automatically have it turn on IP forward every time it boots up the machine. The next thing I want to do is turn on the NAT feature. I'm going to use iptables to do that. Which side is my private side? ETH1 or ETH0? So ETH1 is my private side. So I want to trust that. I want to trust any packets coming from ETH1. So I'm going to do iptables. I'm going to append to my forward rules inbound packets on ETH1. My jump will be to accept them. I'm going to append another one. Packets leaving ETH1. I'm going to accept those too. Now I need to take packets leaving ETH0 that have been routed. I need to pull out my private IP address and I need to put in my public IP address. So I'm going to append to the NAT table a post routing rule. To the NAT table, I'm going to append post routing packets leaving ETH0. My jump will be source NAT. I want to replace it with 10.13.5.1. That's my public. And I want to save those rules. So every time I boot up, the rules take effect. The default rules for CentOS include some rejects. Those rejects will be before my new rules. So I need to take these two in particular. I need to take these two rules and move them above my reject rule. So I'm just going to manually edit my iptables file. Edit sysconfig, etc sysconfig iptables. Then here's my two rules I just added. You see they're below these two catch-alls? These are going to reject everything. So I need to move those above my reject. I just want to put these two above these two. Save that file and do service, iptables, restart. So reread the new rule order. So now this machine is a router because we did this, and it has NAT feature turned on because we did this. Now I'm going to go to my second machine. Again, I want to sign in as root. First thing to do is set the host name. cs01vm2.ferris.com. Now I want to resolve that name to a loopback address. While I'm in this file, I will also add a host record for my first machine. cs01.vm2.ferris.com, which is the reverse of what I did last time. So that is pointing to my own host name is pointing to the loopback. And this is the IP of my first machine. That was the inside IP address. If you remember over here, 1.1 was the IP address of my first machine. So I'm going to say VM1 is really 192.168.1.1. Now I'm going to reboot my machine so the change takes place. Yeah, I'm rebooting the second machine rather. When it boots up, in the login screen, I should see my long name, and in my short name will be in the command prompt. The next time you reboot, those changes will take effect, but they won't make it won't turn routing on immediately. Sys control file. Okay, there's my short name, so my host name did take effect. I'm going to sign in as root, then edit my interface file. I only have one interface file on this machine. Network -scripts boot proto static Now this gets a gateway. This is the only interface, so I must put the gateway here. Who's my gateway? Yeah, the near side interface on my NAT router. Yeah, the 192.168.1.1. Right. I'm going to save this file. I'm going to restart my networking. And then I'm going to add my MAC address back in because I had to take it out. ifconfig. There's my MAC address. So I'm going to ping first I'll ping 192.168.1.1. That's my near side interface. Now I'm going to ping the far interface on the router. Ping 10.13.5.1. Now I'm going to ping the DNS server that's in the same network but not in this subnet, 10.13.2.5. And then I'm going to ping somewhere on the internet. So that's working. So the last step is to configure name resolution. I would do it on both. Because just because I'm going through the NAT router doesn't mean my NAT router is doing name resolution for me. So I'm going to try to do, now that I have my name resolution fixed, I'm going to try to do a dig and a host name, or NS lookup and a host name. So name resolution is working. I'm also going to look at my routing table, route-n or netstat-rn. So everything looks good. So at this point, my internal machine is on the network. I'm not going to pull up a website because if I pull up a website, I might YouTube might tag it as being copyright infringement. So I'm going to stop there. Keep in mind that Linux 2 is only attached to the private virtual switch. So for it to get to the internet, it has to go through the private virtual switch to Linux, this box here, and this one is actually sending it out to the internet. Okay, that's it for this video.